Hey y'all, Matt here with another Bible study video, and today we're talking about Matthew chapter 5 verses 29 and 30. They say, if your right eye causes you to sin, tear it out and throw it away. For it is better that you lose one of your members than your whole body be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away, for it is better for you to lose one of your members than your whole body go into hell. And the reason why we're talking about this today is I've seen this come up multiple times on TV shows, and you see it a lot on TV shows around the fire department, first responders, or maybe even hospitals. And what you typically see is you have somebody that is kind of portrayed on TV as being a Christian nut job. Read this passage and take it literally and either poke their own eye out or cut it out, or actually cut off one of their hands and say, I was trying to be obedient to God, and I did this because I read it in my Bible. And it makes it's silly, it's nonsense, and that's why we have to use correct biblical interpretation on this. So when we attack this passage, the first thing we need to do is look at the context. And if you go back to verse 28, what you'll see is Jesus is actually talking about adultery in this passage, which is basically literally cheating on your wife, on your spouse, or in his terms, any kind of other sexual immorality. And so what he's doing is, in talking about this, he uses what we call in our society a hyperbole, or an extreme exaggeration. And this gives a dramatic effect, but it also is used to convey his message and the importance of his message. And a good example of this in our society, in a context that we really understand, is if your mom is yelling at you and she says, I've told you not to do this a million times. If I have to tell you again, I'm going to come in there and I'm going to beat you. We all know mom hasn't really told us literally a million times, but it's a dramatic effect that conveys the point that mom's trying to make, right? If you hear that as a kid, I'm about to get my butt worn out. I need to stop doing this. I need to, correct my behavior because mom's serious. She's not playing this time. I can't get away with this again. And so in this passage, we see Jesus using a hyperbole to actually paint the portrait of the message that he's trying to get across. And what he's trying to get across in this passage is how dangerous our thoughts can be. They're originally talking about adultery, but he takes it a step further and he goes and he said, even if you haven't reached the point of actually committing adultery, your thoughts and even your vision, if you look at somebody lustfully, then you're already committing a sin. And that's how small these things start. That's how serious we need to take these things. This is how serious our sin is. And so the point he's trying to convey is, we need to go to whatever extent it is to avoid this sin, to get it out of our lives. Because remember, when we talked about sin in a previous video, the standard of God is nothing short of holiness, and that's perfection. And while none of us can keep that standard, and that's why Jesus was sent and died on the cross for us after living a sinless life, we should all, in our Christian walk, we should try to strive for that standard of perfection. And so no matter what it is in our life, we need to try to strive for that. So while we might look at somebody that's cheating on their wives and being like, oh, well, that kind of makes me feel good because I haven't done that to my wife, even though I watch porn or, look at, attractive people on Instagram that are half naked, stuff like that. We got to eliminate all of that. And it may start as a big sin. It may start as watching porn, and then you may be able to fight that and get that out of your life. And then it may evolve from that to these, attractive people that are lustfully dressed on Instagram and stuff like that, eliminating that. And for us, that may mean doing something that is extreme for our society. It may mean deleting that app, not having an Instagram account. We have to do whatever it takes in order to combat this sin, because while Jesus has died for our sins, and all we have to do is believe in him, and through our faith we are saved, it doesn't mean he gives us the right to continue to sin intentionally. That's not what he's dying for. He's not dying for a free pass. for us to sin. He's dying so that we can actually have a better life in walking with him until we die and receive that salvation. So this passage, it doesn't mean you need to go and you need to rip your eyes out of your head or poke them out or cut your hands off, but Jesus is using an extreme exaggeration in order to convey the importance of the sin that he's addressing in this passage. So if you have any more topics you want us to hit, please send me an email. There's an email in the description. Send them to me so I can do videos on topics that you're interested in. But until the next one, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you're notified when I post a video, and please share the channel with your friends so that we can grow and reach more people. But until the next video, I love you guys. Blessings.